Wow, Shalom, Shabbatah. So glad to be back with you and with another video. Some of that pure water. You know, this video evolved so much over these last couple of months, but I knew I had to be patient. You know, carefully research and gather this info, which I will be presenting to you. It's been a great journey so far. Dawada Hawa, for sure. I've had to deal with my share of static, of course, and the trolling, the harassment, but it has only made me more eager to prove what I'm presenting and saying. So, with that said, thanks to all the haters, thanks for all the static. I know what was coming, but mainly, Hawa knew what he had in store for me, and he has prepared me throughout my life for this. So before I begin, let me just make something very clear. Now, this video has nothing to do with Africans or the Asian, Mongolian descendants that are called Native Americans. We ain't gonna have no hijack in this video. So I'm truly grateful and privileged to bring this to you. I truly feel that. So to the Shabbatah, to the viewers, my followers and subscribers, I just want to say very humbly, thank you from deep down in my heart. Thank you for the constant support and the kind words. Most of them really good. I appreciate all the comments everybody's left. You know, much blessings, much love, much ahab to all you who are supporting, who are watching. I hope these videos has been useful to you personally in your journey, like they have on mine. This knowledge that we're receiving, right, from the Most High. Oh wow. So, do you know who you are now? Do you remember? Hope my videos have helped somewhat, you know, make that clear. But if not, I really wanted to make something special and have something solid for the Shabbatah, the copper-colored tribes of America, the Aborigines, and as well for the hijacks, of course, the liars, the blind, and the ego-driven individuals who just refuse to accept and choose willful ignorance over foundational truth. So with that said, let's begin. Hawa. Hawa.
Because however much America strays away from the ideals of justice, the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied up in the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrim Fathers landed at Plymouth, we were here. Before Jefferson etched across the pages of history the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence, we were here. Before the beautiful words of the Star-Spangled Banner were written, we were here. And for more than 2 centuries, our forebears labored here without wages. They made cotton king. They built the homes of their masters in the midst of the most humiliating and oppressive conditions, yet out of a bottomless vitality.
So you just heard Dr. Martin Luther King tell you that before the Pilgrim's father landed here, you were here.
Our forefathers weren't the Pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us.
Now, what did he mean by this? What exactly did he mean by saying you were here? This was towards the end of his speech that day. And he slipped it right in there, you know, to the people that was listening to him that day. So it's either 2 things, right? Well, there's only could be one thing. But basically, to people who are still kind of brainwashed, only one thing they could assume is that he's talking about maybe Africans, slaves that had come over and that were already there. And we're talking about 1620, right? When the Pilgrims arrived in 1620, he's saying, you were there. You were already there before 1620. You know, they say the first Negroes that arrived, or African slaves that arrived in America, so-called African slaves, was in 1619 in Virginia. Alright, so is he talking about that? Or is he talking about the Aboriginals? Copper-colored Aboriginals, so-called Negroes that were living in New England. And we're going to talk about those first Africans from 1619, so-called Africans. We're going to show you where they really came from and who they really were a little bit later. So now in New England, this is what the Pilgrims encountered. Now, as you can see from this image, these are clearly so-called Negroes, you know, in this drawing from the 1600s by the book of John Ogilvy, right? And a lot of people know who this is, and you can Google that, his name, John Ogilvy, and look at the images that he draws of the American Indians, and you'll see they're all copper-colored tribes. Now it says here, New Netherlanders apparel. It says modern New England, Delmarva Peninsula, Cape Cod, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, and Connecticut, with small outposts in Pennsylvania and Rhode Island. From the book by John Ogilvy, 1600 to 1676, issued in 1671. And take a look at their clothes. Look at this, you know, look at their clothes. They don't look half naked, you know. Well, if you're looking at the one in the back, she's just being free. She's probably comfortable like that. I'm sure she wears clothes sometimes on the top, but you can see the male, how he's dressed, right? Looks more like Roman, right, or Spartan or Greek than how they depict savage Native Americans, right? All right. This right here is Chief Rain in the Face. He's a Wampanoag chief. Can't specify the year where I got the image, but he's from the Wampanoag tribe in Massachusetts. And this is Dorcas Honorable. It says the last known Native American woman on Nantucket, who died in 1855. This is from the Nantucket Historical Association. And Nantucket is an island really close to Plymouth. Let me show you right here. As you can see, where Plymouth is, in Nantucket, right below, right? And these are natives from the Narragansett and Wampanoag families. They got together to take this picture here, and they're part of the Algonquin-speaking tribes. And they're all over New England, you know, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Long Island, New York, you know, Connecticut. Wampanoag, as you can see, copper-colored, right? This is what the Pilgrims were encountering. And this is Serbia G. Mitchell, a Wampanoag Native American. As you can see, who does she resemble? And let's read right here. It says, Figure 17, interior view of the Mitchell home at Becky's Neck, circa 1893. Seated on the left is Serbia. On the far right is Melinda Tiwilima. That's another known native from that area. And immediately behind her is Charlotte Wotone Sanuske. In the lower right hand corner there's a partial image of a seated man. This could be their brother Alonso. On the table behind Charlotte is a group of ryegrass baskets that they were working on. And the photographer L.B. Shaw, landscape photographer Elmwood, Massachusetts. All right. And this is another picture of them, the same three, in their home outside. So as you can see, copper colored, right? This is Emma Mitchell, another Wampanoag Native American from Massachusetts. So in reference to the Shinnecock tribe, right? Just wanted to show you something. I know you guys know a lot about, you know, rap, and you know who Old Dirty Bastard is, right? So in reference to the Shinnecock tribe, as you see here, now here's a little bit of the ancestral history to Old Dirty Bastard.
The drugs, the crime, the poverty. These were tough neighborhoods, but there were also places where his family had been for countless generations. In fact, Dirty could trace his lineage back to a time when there was no New York City, just the wilderness of North America. He was 1/4 Shinnecock Indian.